First, we will figure out GST liability is there or not in Tally Prime. So, how you will be analyze and how you will be figure out your GST liability in Tally Prime. So, first we need to open Tally Prime, and from here we will open balance sheet and click on current liabilities and click on duties and taxes. Now you can see your debit and credit side there is showing your taxes amount. In debit side you can see your input taxes amount, and in credit side you can see your output taxes amount. When we adjust our output taxes with input taxes, then we will get our GST payable amount. Let's suppose if your output taxes is amount more than your input taxes, so there is come your GST taxable amount. If your input taxes amount is more than output taxes, so there is a ITC you can carry forward for the next month. So there in this case our output tax is more than input tax, so there is a GST payable amount which we have to pay to the government. So at the end of the year 23-24 we need to pass a GST payable GST provisional entry in the month of March. So we will change the date by pressing F to 31st of March, and here we will adjust our output taxes with input taxes. So we will debit all our output taxes like output CGST, SGST and IGST. So I am going to debit here output CGST amount will be debited, and again we will debit output SGST. So output as GST amount will be debited 1,16,000, whatever amount will be there you have to debit your output CGST, IGST and SGST. So in our case there is no output IGST, there is only output CGST and SGST. So we have already been adjusted, we have already been debited our output. Now we will adjust our input tax amount with output. So here I am going to adjust input CGST amount will be credited, and again we will adjust our input as GST amount will be credited. Now you can see, and whatever amount will be remain, that is our GST taxable GST payable amount. So how you will create GST payable ledger? By pressing Ctrl C you can create GST payable ledger under group current liability. Why current liability? As because GST payable is amount is our liability. This is a ultimately liability for our company. So that's why we will create this ledger under group current liability. So our GST payable amount come out 25,174.88. In narration you can mark this is a GST payable entry, GST provision entry for the month of March. So in this way you can also pass GST payable GST provision entry at the end of the year 23 and 24. When we will enter in next financial year 24 and 25, we will pay this GST payable. So how you will be pay? From gateway of telepress fee, and from the right hand side select payment voucher. By pressing F2 you can change the date in which date you want to pay. So before passing that entry you can see, if you want to see GST payable entry, so open balance sheet and go to the current liability. You can see there is GST payable amount will be show there. So let's pass GST payable entry which we are going to pay to the government. So here I have been changed the date in the next financial year 1st April 24. Before we have credited GST payable, now we will debited GST payable ledger. So GST payable ledger will be debited with amount 25,000, whatever GST payable amount you have to debit that amount, and our bank will be credited as because we are going to pay GST payable amount by our bank. So this is how you can book your GST payable, your GST provision entry at the end of the. If you know GST amount and you want to calculate your taxable value on the behalf of GST amount, so how you will be calculate, I am going to tell you in this video. Hello friends, this is Suman Sharma. Welcome back to my channel Suman Education Hub English. Now you can see I have prepared three details where we will calculate 18%, 12% and 5% taxable value. In the first column we will calculate 5% taxable amount. In the first column you can see I have mentioned GST amount. On the behalf of this amount we will calculate taxable amount. So we need to apply here formula if we want to calculate 5%. So put equal to and select the GST amount divided by 0.05%. It means here we are calculating 5% taxable amount and press the enter. Now you can see this is the taxable amount of 84.54. This is a 5% taxable amount. If you want to calculate all GST amounts, so drag the formula. So Excel will be calculate automatically all the taxable amount on the behalf of GST amount. If you want to recheck your GST amount is calculate correct or not, so you can apply here formula as I'm showing you on the screen. So now you can see 84.54 calculated GST amount. It means the formula is correct. So here we have applied and we have calculated 0.5% taxable amount. Next, if you want to calculate 18% or 12%, so how you will be calculate? In the same way we will calculating here. So in the first column you can see GST amount. In second column there is a taxable amount mentioned. So apply equal to select GST amount cell divided by 0.12. Here we are calculating 12% taxable amount and drag the formula. Now you can see it is calculated 5% taxable value on the behalf of GST by applying formula. If you want to recheck, so you can apply here formula equal to select the taxable amount multiply 12 divided 100. Now you can see GST amount calculated correctly. It means our formula is correct. In the same way, if you want to calculate 18% taxable amount, so apply formula here equal to and select the GST amount column the cell divided 0.18% and drag the formula. In this way, if you know GST amount and if you want to calculate your taxable amount, so you can calculate by using this formula in Excel sheet. And if you want to recheck, so apply equal to select taxable amount multiply 18 divided 100. In today's video we are going to discuss about how to export stock summary reports from Tally Prime to Excel. So from gateway of Tally we will press yes and your stock summary will be open. From here you can see your all stocks will be shown at one place. And if you want to export your stock summary, from the right hand side click on monthly reports. If you want to export these stocks month wise, so click on any of month of which month you want to export your stock summary and click on export option. And from here if you want to change your file format, so you can see there is showing PDF Excel, so you have to select from here Excel format and click on send option. Now you can see there is exporting your stock summary reports Tally Prime to Excel sheet. Now here is showing inward, outward and closing reports. So in this way you can export your stock summary reports from Tally to Excel. For any of month you want to export in running sheet, I have export here April month. So if you want to export May month, June month in running sheet, so you can export same likewise I have shown you in this video from the scratch. So open Tally Prime and after opening Tally Prime, first we will create company. So for creating company there is an option company, click on that option and click on create option. Now you can see there is a new window open. From here we will create our new company. So you have to type your company name, whatever your company name. So I am going to create here Aditya Catering Company. Next, mailing name, same name will become over here. And in address option, you have to fill your registered company address. There is a enough good and enough space. You can fill your principal address, you can fill your registered address over here. And after that, in state, you have to select your company state, your company registered state. So here I'm going to select Delhi company, then pin code of your state, and then telephone number, official telephone number you can fill here. And in next, mobile number, so you can provide here one or two mobile. Fax number if your company have. Email ID, official email ID of your company. If your company has website, so fill here your company website. So I'm going to fill here www.catering.com. And the next option is financial year beginning from. So if you're creating company in financial year 2023 and 24, so put here date 1st April 23, and books beginning from same date will become over here. By pressing Ctrl A, you can save this screen. Now you can see company successfully created. So company has been created successfully. Now there is an option accounting, inventory, taxation. All these option you can use and mark yes or no, enable, disable as per your requirement. So here we are going to enable taxation option. So first option is enable good and services. So yes, press, and now you can see new window has been opened, related GST details. So you have to provide your company's GST related all detail, all the option you have to fill as per your requirement. First, GST registration detail. So first you have to select state of your GST. So I'm going to select here Delhi. Registration type, so I'm going to select regular, as because we have a regular registration type. And GST applicable from 1st April 23. Then provide your GST number and select monthly or quarterly. If you are going to file your GSTR1 monthly, so select monthly option. If you are going to opt QRMP scheme, so select here quarterly option. So here we are going to file our return monthly basis, so I'm going to select monthly option. If you need e-way bill, so as because we are going to sell services, so in services there is no required to make e-way bill, so that's why this mark this option no. If you are dealing in goods, so mark this option yes and save this screen. So we have successfully created company and also configuration of taxation option. Now let me close the another company. Now you can see only Aditya catering company is showing over here. So let's sell the catering services. So how you will sell catering services? So from gateway of Tally, we will press V so that new voucher can be opened and we will start selling our catering services. From the right hand side, select sales voucher. So I'm going to select here sales voucher, and you need to change the voucher mode. So right hand side there is option change mode. Click on this option. Now you can see there is showing three options. So first option is item invoice, second is accounting invoice, and third is as voucher invoice. So let me tell you the uses of these vouchers. First option is used for if you're dealing in goods, if you're selling stock items. So for making stock item invoices, you need this mode, item invoices. And second option is accounting invoice if you're selling services. So for making services invoice, you need second option. And third option is as voucher. So as voucher method is used for if you're not selling goods and if you're not selling services, just you want to book your sales value wise. So in that scenario you have to use as voucher mode. So here today we are going to sell services, so that's why we are going to select accounting invoice. Select this option. Now you can see voucher invoice mode will be show look like this. So if you're selling catering services in cash, so you can select cash ledger. if you're selling any of registered party, so you need to create a new party ledger. So there is an option, create option, you can click on this and you can create a new buyer's ledger from here. Now the I'm going to create our new buyer's ledger from here. So Anjali Enterprises, this is our buyer's ledger. Under group you need to select sundry debtors. Maintain balances bill by bill, mark this option yes, and provide the address of your buyers. Select state of your buyers, PIN code number, GST number, all the information of your buyers. Before saving this ledger, make sure all the details you are providing correctly. Now we need to create a catering services ledger from here. By pressing Ctrl C, we will create this ledger as because we are going to sell these services. So I'm going to create here catering services ledger. Under group you need to select indirect income, as because you are going to sell catering services, which is going to be indirectly income source for your company. So that's why we will create this ledger under group indirect income. GST will be applicable. Set alter GST detail, press yes, and fill SSC code of these services. In nature of transaction, select not applicable, and in taxability select taxable, and 18% tax apply on these services, so mention 18% tax rate over here. And by pressing Ctrl A, you can save this ledger directly. This is a shortcut key of saving the ledger. Let's suppose you sell catering services 50,000 plus GST. So in amount we will fill 50,000, and we are going to sell these services to local party, so that's why we will apply CGST and SGST. As we have not created taxation ledger, so by pressing Ctrl C, if ledger is not created, so you can create from here. So if you need, you can create input or output CGST SGST ledger. If you want to create common ledger, so you can create CGST SGST ledger over here. So I'm going to create here output CGST. Under duties and taxes, GST, and select central tax. By mistakenly I have mentioned input CGST. You don't have to mention input CGST, mention output CGST, as because this is a sale invoice. So by mistakenly this was my mistake, so please correct it. You can create output CGST ledger. By pressing Ctrl C, again you are going to create output as GST ledger. So by mistakenly I have mentioned input as GST. You have to mention output as GST ledger under duties and taxes, then GST and state tax. Now you can see invoice is done. Total invoice amount is 59,000. 50,000 plus tax amount. So this is how, if you're selling and if you're providing catering services, so invoice to be made something like this I have shown you in this video. So let me show you where this entry will show you in balance sheet. So click on go to option and open balance sheet option. Click on current option, current assets option. Under sundry debtors you can see Anjali Enterprises is showing over here. So if you want to see your sale entry in balance sheet, so sale entry will be show in balance sheet over here. We will check parties ledger. So from gateway of Delhi, press DAL and open your parties ledger. So I'm going to open here Anjali Enterprises. Now you can see we have sold 50,000 plus GST. So if you provide catering services, so this services falls under TDS section 194C, which is contractual services, and the TDS rate is to 1% and 2%. 1% for individual and 2% for partnership and firm. And the threshold limit is 30,000 for single bill and 1 lakh for aggregate year. So we have sold to Anjali Enterprises 50,000 plus GST. So it is crossed threshold limit, and when party will make the payment they will deduct our TDS and then they will make the payment. So when party will deduct TDS, how you will be record that entry? So I'm going to tell you. So there is a 50,000 basic amount. So TDS is always calculate on basic amount. So by pressing Control A, we will add voucher and select receipt voucher, and Anjali Enterprises ledger will be credited with total amount. Invoice amount was 59,000. So 59,000 will be credited. Against reference, you can select against which reference you have received payment. And by pressing Control C, we will create ledger of TDS receivable. So you can create ledger TDS receivable on contractual 194C, something like this. So you can create your ledger as per your requirement. So I'm going to create here TDS receivable. In bracket, I have mentioned 194C section under current assets. Why we are creating this ledger under current assets? As because this is not our liability, even if we are going to pay. So that's why we will create this ledger under group current assets. When we will, in the letter, we will claim this amount. So that's why this is a current assets for us. Invoice amount was 50,000 plus GST. 50,000, it's a basic value, and TDS is calculated on basic value. So 50,000, 2% it's 1,000. As because this is a company, so that's why this is a registered company. So 2% TDS will be deducted. So 1,000 will be debited, and by pressing Control C, if bank ledger not created, so you can create your bank ledger, all the information fill, and you will receive 58,000 in your bank and 1,000 as a TDS. So TDS will be debited 1,000 and bank will be debited 58,000. So this is the TDS receivable entry. When you are providing catering services and the party deducted your TDS, so you are going to receive the TDS. Open balance sheet and current assets. Now you can see there is showing sundry debtors nil, as